Welcome to Lecture 2 for ENC 1102. In this lecture, we will review how to conduct college-level research and the basics of documentation. All of the formal writing assignments for ENC 1102 involve research, so let's spend a little time talking about the importance of conducting good, reputable research. Why does it matter where the information you use in research papers comes from? Well, I hate to bring up the term fake news, but we are at somewhat of a crossroads when it comes to understanding what information is good and what information is questionable. It is important that we know where we are getting information, what kind of information we are getting, and why some information is just better than other kinds of information. Let's get some definitions of key terms related to information literacy. A primary source is an original work. So when we research a poem, for example, the poem itself is considered a primary source, where an article written about that poem by a literary expert is called a secondary source. This applies to other fields besides literature as well. For example, in a psychology course, I could research a mental illness such as depression. When I look at what experts write about it, those are secondary sources. An interview with a person suffering from depression, or letters or diaries written by depression sufferers, would be primary sources. In political science, a paper on the Constitution would involve both the document itself, primary source, and expert discussion, secondary sources. Tertiary sources are also sometimes called reference works. This entails information that is fairly established as factual. When we consult dictionaries or encyclopedias for background information, definitions, and biography, we are using tertiary sources. In today's world, most of our research is accessed using a web browser, but it's important to know the difference between the types of sources we are using. Books are published and are typically long works. They tend to take time to be published, so they're not always timely. But when we research literature, timeliness is not that vital. In research, we also run into books that are anthologies, in which multiple works are published together. For example, if I find a book, no matter whether it's in print or electronic form, that collects various essays on Shakespeare's Hamlet, I might use more than one of these works in my paper on the play. Each article is a separate source, as opposed to a book written by a single author that covers Hamlet in depth. People often use the terms story and article interchangeably. In journalism, this is usually valid. However, in studying literature, we need to distinguish between the stories we read as works of literature and the articles we locate and use in researching literature. Articles, in this sense, can be published in book form with the aforementioned anthology, but we are typically accessing articles published in periodicals by using the library databases. Even though you might use the internet to find and read these published articles, it is important to understand that these are not websites. Web pages and websites are published only for web consumption. Many books, magazines, newspapers, and even academic journals also publish their wares online. But when we use the term web, we're referring to those items published directly for the World Wide Web. In academic writing, it is always preferable to rely on scholarly sources and avoid websites, especially websites of questionable origin like Wikipedia, SparkNotes, or Shmoop. Using the open internet can be great for sparking ideas, but it is not considered academic research. Your first stop in conducting research should always be the LSSC library, or after you graduate, any college or university library is preferable. On the LSSC library's page, you can use the main search bar to locate any books, films, or articles relevant to your topic. However, I suggest searching the catalog by itself and then focusing on relevant databases to locate articles. For non-literary topics, general databases like Academic Search Complete are great, but LSSC also offers some great databases that that focus on literature. On the next slide, I will give you my recommendations for research for the literature-based papers in ENC 1102. Both Gale Literary Sources and Literary Reference Center Plus are excellent resources for any work of literature. JSTOR is as well, but it's better with the older literature than with newer works. Remember your ABCs. Authority. Who is writing the information? If there is no author, is it worth using? What type of website is it? Commercial, organization, university? Even if it is a .edu website, you have to look at who wrote it and whether or not this person is a trusted expert. Bias. Bias isn't as big of a deal when researching literature, but it's still worth looking at, especially if the authority is in question. Credible and current. Again, in literary studies, currency isn't as vital as in medical or scientific research, but credibility is always key. Creating bibliographies is key. Resources linked in Canvas include the LSSC Library Citation Center, and our assignment guide. There's also college handbooks like the Little Seagull. Make sure it's current, which is MLA 8. For consistency, you want to use MLA for all literary papers and APA for optional. APA is optional for first and last papers in this class, depending on the subject matter. Basically, whichever one you use it correctly and completely, and don't be afraid to ask for help. All quoted and paraphrased information must be cited. There's extensive review materials available in Canvas. Must be clear what is and is not your own interpretation. The basics of parenthetical citation. MLA uses whatever comes first in the works cited entry and page number if possible. APA uses first item plus the year. As always, do not be afraid to ask for extra help here.